All right, really quick. I just finished recording something, and usually I don't like listening to myself read, and I don't, people know when you're reading something, and this is something I was reading most of it, but I wanted to be very particular with my thoughts, and I hope you enjoy it. It is with spoilers, and I think I've put, if I remember, I will put the transcript into the video description. So if you want, you can read along if you care to do so. So again, spoilers for this one, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye bye. Diving into Crackpot Trail is akin to embarking on an odyssey through a desert of divergent opinions, where the mirage of consensus dissolves into the sands of individual taste. This novella by Steven Erikson is not just a book, it's a battleground of perception, fiercely dividing its audience. Yet, therein may lie its brilliance.
What?
Crafted with a masterful blend of satire, philosophical depth, and narrative intricacy, Crackpot Trail emerges as a multifaceted gem that both delights and challenges its readers. At its essence, the novella explores the dynamic interplay of creators, consumers, and critics, journeying not only through a barren wasteland, but also through the expansive desert of human creativity and critique. My opinion is that Steven Erikson's Crackpot Trail masterfully employs the device of nested narratives, situating it within a long-standing literary tradition that stretches across genres, cultures, and eras. This technique, where stories are embedded within the main narrative, serves not just to enrich the storytelling, but to offer reflections on the nature of narrative itself, human experience, and the survivalist instinct that storytelling can embody. You could say that this novella most directly mirrors the structure and survival theme of 1001 Arabian Nights, where Scheherazade tells tales to postpone her death, weaving stories like Aladdin, Sinbad, and Ali Baba into the narrative tapestry to captivate her listener. Similarly, Erikson's characters find themselves in a treacherous desert, telling stories to stave off their own demise, making the act of storytelling a literal lifeline. But he weaves that tale in the stylistic and humorous flair that we are used to in this miniseries. Chaucer's 14th century Canterbury Tales is an early example of nested narratives, with pilgrims sharing varied stories on a journey to Canterbury, each reflecting different aspects of medieval society. Dan Simmons' Hyperion follows the pilgrimage of 7 individuals to the world of Hyperion, each sharing deeply personal tales, creating a rich mosaic of human experiences across time and space. Even things like Goldman's The Princess Bride uses a framed story of a grandfather reading to his grandson, delving into an adventure that is much about the act of storytelling as it is about the story itself. The use of nested narratives of stories within stories is also found in Wuthering Heights, Sun Eater, The Kingkiller Chronicles, each employing the technique to varying effects, be it to deepen thematic exploration, enrich character development, or unveil hidden truths. The journey through the desert becomes a metaphor for the artistic journey, fraught with peril, yet rich with potential for revelation and transformation. This narrative choice not only highlights the power of stories to save, but also to reflect on the very nature of storytelling and its impact on both teller and listener. In this light, Erikson's novella is a testament to the enduring power of the nested narrative, serving as both homage and critique to a tradition that continues to evolve, capturing the imagination of readers and writers alike. One of my favorite things is that Steven Erikson uses the conceit of an annual Artist of the Century award to lampoon the self-importance and subjectivity inherent in artistic criticism. Through a cast of pompous critics and desperate artists trekking through the desert, he highlights the absurdity of the art world's often self-aggrandizing judgments. This satirical edge serves as a critique on how art is consumed and evaluated, questioning the validity and integrity of such processes. A sumptuous feast of dark humor and stark realities is served, dishing out a satirical look at the consumption of art that leaves us both amused and contemplative. At its very core, the novella presents a desert journey where the main currency of survival isn't water, but stories. They don't need to eat these people, which is kind of funny. But here, the mantra of critics and fans alike is a demanding entertain us, creating an almost Colosseum-like arena where artists perform gladiatorial bouts for the amusement and approval of a ravenous audience. The artists, desperate for approval, often find themselves at a crossroads, sacrificing their artistic integrity to appease the crowd or cling to their vision at the risk of being metaphorically, and in this desert quite literally, devoured. It's a macabre talent show where the stakes are as high as life and death, reflecting the real-world plight where artists navigate the treacherous waters of public opinion and critical acclaim. Consider the plight of one poor soul in Erikson's narrative, who, brimming with earnestness, pours his heart into stories only to have the audience erupt into laughter, not the intended reaction. This scenario is a comedically tragic reflection on the artist's dilemma, the quest for connection through art, only to be met with misunderstanding and mockery. It's a scene many of us can relate to, having put our own creations out there only to receive feedback that feels like being laughed off stage or stunned to silence, where you were aiming maybe for heartwarming tears. The desert journey becomes a metaphor for the artist's journey, navigating the dunes of popularity and the oasis of integrity. When faced with the chant of "entertain us or else," some artists understandably choose to dance the tune, morphing their work into what gets the loudest applause, even if it means losing a piece of their soul in the process, metaphorically. Others, holding on to their unique voice, risk being cast aside, their stories left unfinished, swallowed by the sands of obscurity. Erikson, with a wink and a nudge, invites us to question, are we as the audience complicit to this gladiatorial spectacle? Do we demand the dance, only to scorn the dancer who stumbles? Among other things, the novella offers a mirror to the perpetual state of the artistic world, where the balance between taking risks and flowing with the current is as precarious as traversing a desert in search of the next story that will stave off our own demise. Through this story, he not only critiques this dynamic, but also participates in it, throwing his own stories into the arena, challenging us to reflect on our roles as consumers of the art, and he doesn't demand that we like it. Are we the ravenous critics and fans shouting, "Entertain us"? Or are we fellow travelers, willing to share our water in the desert of creativity? Will we make yesterday's genius today's fodder? In this tale of survival, laughter, and the occasional heartbreak, we find that art, in all its forms, is a journey not just of creation, but of shared humanity. Erikson delves deep into the quintessential purpose of art, its power to evoke emotion, foster connection, and transcend the boundaries between creator and audience. Through the myriad tales woven throughout this novella, from the absurdly comical to the heart-wrenchingly profound, Erikson illustrates how art, in its truest form, is not just a mode of entertainment, but a conduit for universal truths, whether we are looking for that or not. A standout moment that encapsulates this theme is a conversation between the narrator and a listener struggling to grasp the motivations of a character. This paragraph may be my favorite thing Erikson has written, because it just hits home. The listener's superficial engagement with the story prompts a profound response from the narrator, one that eloquently captures the essence of storytelling. When asking about this main character's motivations and being corrected about it, she says, "How was I supposed to know that?" "By crawling into her skin," the narrator says most gently. He goes on, quote, "Such is the secret covenant of all stories, and songs and poems too, for that matter. With our words, we wear 10,000 skins. And with our words, we invite you to do the same. We do not ask for your calculation nor your cynicism. We do not ask you how well we are doing. You choose whether to be with us, word by word, in and out of each and every scene, to breathe as we breathe, to walk as we walk, but above all, we invite that you feel as we feel." Close quote, and I just want to reiterate how much I love that. This dialogue serves as a powerful testament to the transformative potential of art. It reminds us that the act of engaging with a story, a song, or a poem is an act of empathy, of stepping into another's experience to see the world through their eyes. Erikson challenges us to abandon our passive consumption of art for a more active, empathetic engagement. In doing so, we not only understand the characters and their motivations, but also connect with a deeper, often unspoken emotional truth that resonates with us, or it has that potential at least. Erikson's words invite us into the, quote, secret covenant with the story, where the boundary between reader and characters blur. This immersive experience underscores the belief that art's ultimate potential is to create a shared emotional journey, inviting us to feel as the characters feel, to live as they live, if only for the span of a tale. Sometimes we feel the story. Sometimes we don't. The failure in that can be both artist and reader. I know a ton of books that people feel very strongly about that I just don't connect with. And that's okay. That is the nature of art. There are people who love the same books generally as I do, who really hated this one. Interesting to see those points of diversion. Within all of his MALAZAN books, Erikson showcases his adeptness not only in crafting compelling narratives, but also in drawing intriguing parallels between his fictional world and the real one. A standout example of this is the character Bauchelain, a character that keenly mirrors the real-world MALAZAN fan and critic A.P. Canavan. This character is clearly more than a mere nod to a devoted fan, but he embodies the complex relationship between creators and their audience, particularly those who engage deeply with the work. This creator, who goes by a critical dragon, known for his insightful analysis and deep appreciation for the MALAZAN series, becomes the blueprint for Bauchelain. And in this novella, Apto is characterized by his meticulous attention to detail, his propensity for probing questions, something I've experienced on my own live streams, and his commitment to understanding the deeper meanings and motivations behind the words. This mirrors Canavan's real-life interactions with the MALAZAN series, where his critical engagement has added layers of discussion and interpretation to the fan community. I think that Erikson's decision to incorporate a character inspired by Canavan is a testament also to the symbiotic relationship between authors and their engaged readership. It highlights how fans and critics who delve beyond the surface can influence the world within the books they adore, becoming part of the narrative fabric themselves. This inclusion serves as a playful yet profound commentary on the impact of critical thought and passionate discourse on the evolution of a literary work. Moreover, the presence of Bauchelain within Crackpot Trail acts as a bridge between the fictional and the real, inviting readers to reflect on their role in a larger narrative of the stories they consume. It suggests that the engagement with a story goes beyond passive consumption. It is an active, dynamic process where the reader, equipped with their interpretations and emotions, becomes a co-creator of the experience. Through this clever character parallel, Erikson not only pays homage to a notable member of the MALAZAN community, but also underscores the vital role of readers and critics in breathing life into the pages of a book. It's a reminder that the worlds we dive into are not just shaped by the author's pen, but are often influenced and molded by the minds and hearts of those who traverse them word by word. It can be a precarious balance between artistic integrity and audience expectation. Erikson ventures into the tangled web of artistic creation, critique, and consumption. This novella shines a light on a truth that many artists face: the pressure to alter their work to capture attention, often at the expense of their original vision and inspiration. Through his narrative, Erikson articulates a sentiment felt deeply within the artistic community, addressing the nuanced yet tumultuous relationship between the artist, the critic, and the fan. In desperation, within this novel and sometimes in real life, artists change the tone of their work or plagiarize in an attempt to appease the crowd or not to be eaten. Highlights in this book are a family-friendly version of Gothos's Folly and the intimate meeting of Callum and Lacine. Artists driven by a need for recognition and understanding sometimes find themselves veering away from their authentic voices to cater for what garners the most applause or avoids criticism. This shift, while potentially broadening their appeal, can erode the core of what made their work unique and compelling in the first place. Crackpot Trail doesn't just acknowledge this reality, it delves into the emotional and creative cost of such compromises. It lives it. His narrative serves as a poignant reminder of the importance of critics in the artistic ecosystem. Critics at their best guide artists to refine their craft, highlighting areas of improvement and encouraging deeper exploration of themes and techniques. However, this relationship teeters on the edge of a knife. Excessive critique or a focus on commercial success over artistic merit can stifle creativity, leading artists to lose sight of their original inspirations and aspirations. In a bold move that is also humorous, Erikson uses this story to reflect the frustrations and challenges that artists face in this balancing act. The novella reflects on the tension between staying true to one's artistic vision and adapting to the demands and expectations of audiences and critics. This tension is a central theme portrayed through a character's journey, a metaphor for the artistic process itself. Erikson's response to these dynamics is not a dismissal of criticism or audience expectations, but a call for a more empathetic and understanding engagement with art. He appears to suggest that the most fruitful relationships between artists and the audiences are built on mutual respect and a willingness to embrace the essential of the artistic endeavor, to explore, to express, and to connect on a deeply human level. Through a razor-sharp, but also a light-hearted tale, Erikson fires back, not in defiance, but in defense of the artist's right to explore and express without losing the essence of what drives them. He articulates a message many artists may wish to convey, that while attention and recognition are desired, they should not come at the cost of the artist's vision. Erikson took a bold narrative risk that underscores his prowess as a storyteller and his willingness to defy readers' expectations. Remarkably, this novella, the longest in the Bauchelain and Korbal Broach series, unfolds without the titular characters making any major appearance. This choice is not merely a deviation. It's a deliberate subversion of narrative conventions that challenges the reader's anticipations and engagement with the story, something that it is talking about the whole time. As the tale progresses, Erikson masterfully builds anticipation, leaving readers to believe that they've deciphered the trajectory of the narrative. This sense of predictability is a testament of Erikson's control over the narrative pace and his understanding of storytelling tropes. Readers, seasoned by their journey through the MALAZAN world, may find themselves nodding along, confident in their foresight, only to be met with a startling realization. The story they thought they were following was a mirage all along. The narrative sleight of hand serves multiple purposes. First, it emphasizes the theme of unpredictability within the realm of storytelling itself. Just as the characters navigate a treacherous desert unaware of what lies beyond the next dune, so too are readers led through the landscape of narrative uncertainty. This aligns with Erikson's broader commentary on the nature of stories and their power to surprise, delight, and confound. Moreover, the overall absence of Bauchelain and Korbal Broach, and the unexpected direction the novella takes, reflect on the very essence of what it means to tell a story. Erikson invites readers to question their expectations of narrative structure and character roles, pushing them to consider the value of the journey over the destination. It's a reminder that stories, much like life, are unpredictable, and that the true magic lies in the telling, not just in the tale's conclusion. The ending is not just a narrative trick. It's a statement of storytelling itself. Erikson dares to venture where few authors do, trusting in the flexibility of his readership. This risk, rather than alienating readers, deepens their engagement with the text, encouraging a more active and critical approach to reading. It's a testament to Erikson's belief in the power of stories to challenge and transform, proving that even in the absence of expected characters, a tale can resonate profoundly. By the novella's close, Erikson has not just pulled the rug from under the reader's feet, he has reshaped the floor itself, leaving a lasting impression of the boundless possibilities inherent in storytelling. It's my opinion that this daring conclusion solidifies it as a standout work within the series and showcases an unwavering commitment to pushing the boundaries of the fantasy genre. As the final pages fade into the desert sunset, I find myself reflecting on the journey with a mixture of awe and admiration. Steven Erikson has once again demonstrated his unparalleled ability to weave complexity, humor, and profound insight into the fabric of his tales, making this novella not just an addition to the MALAZAN world, but a standout piece in many ways that resonates on a deeply personal level. He delivers a narrative that is just as enriching as it is entertaining. This novella holds a special place in my heart, not just for the cleverness of its commentary on the nature of art and storytelling, but for its ability to connect with me on a human level. It has many of the hallmarks of Erikson's best work in the MALAZAN Book of the Fallen series. Complex characters, maybe not as intricate plot, but it has immense depth in the thematic exploration that invites reflection long after the last page is turned. I imagine I'll be thinking about this for a long time until I read it again. He extends an invitation to journey alongside a cast of characters that are as flawed as they are fascinating in a world where the line between reality and fiction blurs. He challenges us to consider our roles as creators, consumers, and critics of stories, and reminds us of the transformative power of storytelling. It's not just a narrative achievement, in my opinion. It's a vibrant tapestry of ideas, emotions, and questions that beckon exploration. It stands shoulder and shoulder with the rest of the MALAZAN world, not merely for its contributions to the lore and for the expansion of the universe, but for its profound engagement with the essence of what it means to tell and receive stories. I really, really liked this one. And I have to confess, I have been the fan, ravenous in my consumption of art, quick to devour the very creators who have nourished my imagination. At times, my enthusiasm has turned to disenchantment over a single misstep, in my opinion, over the narrative, leading me to unfairly dismiss an entire body of work at times. This novella holds up a mirror to those moments, challenging me to reconsider the impact of my consumption. Conversely, I have stood in the shoes of the artist, pouring my soul into performances, only to be met with the critic's teeth, or worse, silence. This experience of being on the receiving end of harsh judgment has been both humbling at times and enlightening, offering a first-hand understanding of the vulnerability inherent in creating something. As a critic, I've wielded my words with the intention of offering constructive feedback. Yet, I must acknowledge the times when my critique may have crossed into the realm of consumption, carelessly consuming the efforts of those brave enough to create. And in the most curious twist of fate, I recognize moments when I, as an artist, have perhaps consumed the admiration and energy of fans, feeding on their enthusiasm to fuel my creative endeavors, only to find myself not satiated in that pursuit. Crackpot Trail has served as a catalyst for introspection, revealing the nuanced and often conflicting roles we play in the ecosystem of art. This balance that he weaves between the creator, the critic, and the fan is just so interesting, and he highlights the interconnectedness beautifully. In grappling with the themes of this novella, I am reminded of the importance of empathy, understanding, and mutual respect in our engagements with art and with each other. This journey through the desert of Erikson's creation has not just been an exploration of fictional narratives, but a profound reflection on the nature of our interactions with art and the roles we embody within its realm.